Okay, that's perfect. Let's start. Okay, we are gonna have another great episode with the amazing guest because we are really close to the election for the people that they can choose their future leader for the Miramichi. So many candidates, I believe, like around 18 running for council and 5 for the mayor, and I believe most of them are women, and we are gonna have one man also. We will try to invite them, but today we are gonna have Tiffany Gallivan with us here today, and I'm so proud that you accept my invitation.
Oh, I'm so honored that you asked, Cheyenne.
Yeah, of course. It's my pleasure. It's always the reason why I kind of started this podcast is about I wanted to provide some opportunity for the city of Miramichi and its own citizen to be able to entertain them. But right now, I think this is a good opportunity that they can know their candidates.
Absolutely.
What are their
Yeah.
plans for the future, or who are they? Like, for example, I know you perfectly, and we've worked together before on some projects, but there might be some people that they might not know you. So this is a good opportunity for you and for the people to get to know you, and then they can make a right decision for them for their future.
Awesome.
And I believe you are a great candidate, but I'm sure they are going to know about it too. But we are going to get to know you more, maybe starting with your background. Maybe tell me a little about yourself first. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Cheyenne, again, thank you for having me here today, and I'm very excited to be a part of this whole next, this election, and hopefully this next phase of the city of Miramichi. And it always comes back to my roots and why I'm doing this. And my experience growing up in this community has been nothing short of amazing. Childhood, grew up in Miramichi. I was born and raised in the community, as a part of the community. My family has a long history of business on the river, so well over 100 and I think over 126 years now.
Wow.
I think 136 actually, over 136 years on paper, considering the first census was in 1890, and our family appeared on that census as business owners. And we actually started in the pop bottling business and tobacco business.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
I know. I thought it was actually considered aerated water. It wasn't considered pop.
Okay.
So that language changed over time, but we were the aerated water business. So that was really cool. And actually, speaking in older terms, the Newcastle Chatham terms, we actually started in the Chatham area for quite some time. And our family was established there with the pop bottling. And then over time, that would have been my great-great-grandfather, or my great-great-great-grandfather.
Okay.
And then once he had children, then one of them took over the Chatham one, and the other one, so my great-great-grandfather, then moved over to the Newcastle side. And he started a pop bottling plant there. So that was Gallivan's Ginger Ale, Gallivan's Beverages.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then over time from there, then my family ran that for a number of years. I think it was close to 60 years. And then over time that got sold off. And then our family then started into what many Miramichiers remember, which is the Gallivan's bookstore.
Okay. Yeah.
So Gallivan's bookstore was in downtown Newcastle. That was really my major, I would say that was the major influence in my life. I would say it was probably the biggest influence of my life and my connection to the community. So as a child, I spent many hours there, many days, probably years of my life in that business. Yeah. And it was really awesome because the way that the bookstore was sort of set up is it was called a bookstore, but I sometimes think it was kind of anything but a bookstore. It was really a community space.
Right.
Families would stop in and just catch up. My grandfather, Tommy Gallivan, he was very involved in the community. He was one of the founders of the downtown Newcastle Business District back in 1984.
Okay.
And so over time, growing up in that space and in that business, I really got my connection to the community. So knowing people's, how is Susan today, and how is George, and how's George's cat, and those types of things. You really got that connection, and that really made me feel like I belonged to something greater than just a family. It was being a part of the community, and that's something that I think as I came back to Miramichi after being out west for quite a while, it was like coming home, times 100 for me. It was like coming back to my belonging, my sense of who I am and what this community means to me. And the entire time I was out west, I was in the Northwest Territories. I ran businesses out there, and when I came back, it was funny because the entire time I was away, they would always call me, "Oh, Miss Miramichi. Why are you?" I always go back. Well, at home it's like this, or I really love boating in the summer and the fishing and all these things. And so it's like, well, why are you even still out here? And it's a good question. Why am I still out in the Northwest Territories or in Alberta? But yeah, so eventually I did come home about 9 years ago. Okay. After a large stint out west, which lasted about 13 years. Okay. And then, so I've been home and really trying to do what I can to make Miramichi, bring it sort of back to its roots again, because I know that Miramichi did go through a period where, things weren't perfect for us for a while. We lost a lot of our labor force to the west. We were in a period of basically depression. Our community went through a really difficult period once the mill closed. So now I feel like once I came back, it was kind of on the tail end of that, and a lot of that reverse migration started happening. We started getting a lot of newcomers, which is fantastic. Our population growth. I think when I came back, that was really when things started to swing the other direction. So I felt really excited to be a part of that swing as well, like to get into the community and really foster that growth that was kind of bubbling beneath as I arrived. So
just throwing a question on you, your ancestor until now, and including you guys are very entrepreneurs. Do you know if anyone very into this politics world that you are stepping in?
Actually, yes.
Yes.
So actually, when I was kind of getting set to run for mayor, I did a bunch of ancestral research, and I ended up finding out that so it would have been my great uncle. Okay. He was a Murray, so he would have been a relative, I guess, through marriage. So he married my great aunt. Right. And he was actually the mayor of Chatham, the town of Chatham, for a short period. So, and of course, they were always involved in different ways. So, whether it be politics or really active in nonprofits or just community. So
I don't know what's happening to the people. Not that what's happening. Like some people think that whoever is active or involved needs to become a mayor. Because since I arrived here, what I was always doing for the community was mostly for myself to find that sense of belonging to the city, right? So I was trying to do my volunteering, trying to help the rest of the newcomers, and try to get involved with the community. And as soon as I started doing all of this, people keep calling me, "Yeah, you're the future mayor of Miramichi. You got to be the mayor, run for
Maybe
mayor."
you are, Cheyenne.
But someone doesn't have to be the mayor, right?
I know. I totally know what you're saying, and I think that comes from a level of respect, right? If people see that you're serving the community, right? And typically in some people's minds, if you're serving the community, that means that your heart is in the right place. Yeah. So I think that's a big compliment.
I believe it's social responsibilities. Like it's everybody's responsibility that they have to do it. Like it's not only about you going to work, because as soon as you make that income, you hopefully are in a good stable, like economically you are in a good stable position. You got to give it back to the community. That's how we all grow together. So that's the point.
Yeah.
And what did you study at university?
I went to college, so MBCC, and I did the marketing program, so I have business background, So that was amazing. Now it's interesting because the business that I took, the marketing that I had took, is nothing related to anything that is happening in terms of marketing and advertising or communications that we see today. Because I went back, it was 2004, and the internet isn't what it is today. So a lot of what I learned in college was traditional marketing, right? So the foundation is the same, of course, but in terms of the actual world, it's completely different.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's really interesting, because I was wondering, do you have a lot of plans now for the marketing part of the city of
Absolutely.
Miramichi?
Yeah,
Right, that would
for
be crazy,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like, the first thing I would love that you do it, please, is at one time I went to the city. I had some meetings with some people. I forgot the name because it was 3 or 4 years ago. It was just earlier when I arrived, because I was saying that I know the city have the Instagram or maybe Facebook, but that's not, for example, registered. That's not, they don't, for example, on Instagram, I believe they don't have that blue tick, for example, or a easy name to be able that for a newcomer that come to the city be able to search that up. Especially during that time, 3 years ago. So we kind of really need to have a way better social media, and I believe you are also really active on the downtown Newcastle social media too. So I believe that also needs to go to the next level, to the new phase. And just another question: are you any involved or already with any project in the city, like the website or something like that?
Yeah,
too?
so the city of Miramichi's website
Right.
was a major part of my workload now over the last 3 years. So
Okay.
that was something that when I started working with I do not have a contract any longer with the city of Miramichi. But when I did start to work with him, the website had been aged quite a bit. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
sort of older infrastructure.
It was.
And that was a massive project. So the website now is well over 1,000 pages. It is something that has taken, quite honestly, years to create.
Wow.
But it's something that I'm super proud of, because I really believe that that access to the municipal information that we've needed has now been, overhauled, and there's a massive base there to build from. So I feel like I've left the city in a better state.
Yeah, so
for
I believe
it.
you did a good job, because one of the reasons why I asked that, because I remember the older version of the website, and the reason why we started this podcast, or our first sponsor was the city of Miramichi, and I got the chance, I just Googled it, some grants to be able to run this project, and it guided me through the website, and everything was well organized, the questions and everything was perfectly there. I filled out the application and I got approved, and I was so excited. So that's why I remember that. It is important to have that website clearly, that the people can reach out, and then, so that's one of the, I was gonna ask you exactly what are the projects that you already had done so far for the
Yeah.
city that you're proud of.
And
So
also,
that's one of them.
And also, yeah, and that's one of them. And it's also one of my massive, I would say, accomplishments with the city of Miramichi has been the new app that we were using during the fire.
Nice.
So I was very active in that particular.
You did that too?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So that was a part of the implementation for that app was my work as well, and of course supporting the communications during the old field fire. So all of that work was supported by myself and the communications department in partnership with DTI and the EMO, so the Emergency Measures Organization for the province, and the government in New Brunswick. So that was an extremely intense work that took about 25 days in August,
Right.
Round the clock support, any sort of alert that came out, any sort of update. Whether it was 2 a.m, whether it was 6 a.m, I was on it. I was receiving the alerts. We were supporting the communications. We were writing everything, and it was extremely accurate information. You have to be very, 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 very keen. So a lot of times it was sending the information back and forth to each other to make sure the information was on point. Nothing was there was no typos
Missing,
because of zero as far as like the fire's X size. If you add in an extra zero, well,
Right,
that could be grounds to get people, worked up and worried. So it was really that was an amazing experience actually, because I don't know if people actually knew, but it was recognized nationally, that work, as being extremely well done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that. We were covered by CBC
really?
as being well executed. I think, and I'm very proud of it.
I feel like in a very short period of time, that's amazing. That's like a big achievement in a short period of time, and how accurate it was.
Yes, yeah. It was a lot of work. Like,
I believe so. Yeah.
It was crazy, and it was very stressful, right? So it's like, we had the stress as a resident, but then I had the weight of what I felt like of the communications to keep people safe and aware. And the biggest part about communications is if you give people the accurate information when they need it, there's a sense of calm, right? That creates a sense of calm.
Right.
And that calm does not come by mistake, because that was a massive fire. Right. And when you're talking about 2,000 hectares, just the wrong wind.
Right.
Right. And it wasn't lost on anybody that this was literally 200 years after a fire.
That was crazy. Exactly on 200 years.
That's nuts, right? So, I mean, it was really exciting to be a part of it, because I knew that, oh, great, I get to really use my skills here. And, I've worked all over the world with my business. And so to have something so significant at home and really give that impact felt really good to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's amazing. I believe that, I don't know what would be happen when you get to the office, hopefully. It's kind of funny, because I wonder if you can still be involved on making something for the city. Like, if you as a mayor, I'm not sure, there would be a lot of conflict of interest.
Yeah, there's definitely a conflict of interest. But nonetheless, the awareness is there. I understand the value of it. I understand that people want communication. People need communication.
They need, definitely.
Right? It's not a want, it's a need. And that is a part of the responsibility of a municipality, is to keep people informed, to connect with the community, and to really, truly understand that is really going to help support what we do moving forward, right? I talk about the next chapter of Miramichi, and I really see that we need to keep building that portion. Because up until about 4 years ago, I guess now, the city didn't have a communications officer. The communications wasn't even a department within the city. So that's a new position, and that's a new department, and it's really, in my opinion, not properly supported right now. We have one individual who's fantastic. That's Gail Harding. She's wonderful, and she is a wealth of information. She has tons of experience, massive amount of connections, and she's the right person for that job. However, since our time working together, we've built up that department to the point where now she needs to be better supported, because we've built the infrastructure. The infrastructure now needs to be monitored, maintained, and continually supported, including, her role, but also the infrastructure itself. So in my opinion, if I do get into that seat and really get elected, fingers crossed, that we can build that out more, because let's be honest, like, that is a responsibility of the community. That's of the municipality, I'll say. Yeah.
Right. I was going to just ask you a question. I forgot that.
Sorry.
But I think, what was it about? It was exactly about the same topic we were talking about. It's about the... Okay, yeah, I remember that. It was about... I was going to ask you, you can give me a short answer, how much your network is within the city, like how much people you know. By network, I mean how many people you know in variety of categories. Like, for example, me, an electrician, or like the... and the people who are good at the web developing, for sure that and the rest of them. Do you feel like you're confident about knowing a lot? Because I feel like it's really helping. I believe a mayor should be someone, or the city leaders, or the community leaders, not only the mayor, city councilors, or whoever are working in any department, needs to know their community members, and they reach out to their local people to be able to fix a problem, or if, for example, they know my idea, or they gotta reach out to me. You want to do this work, not me always going reach out to them. I have this idea. Let me do it. I want to do it. So I think like this has to be changed in the city. That the person who is coming with education or with a skill or an idea, we gotta give that support and see how we can support it, instead of they knocking the city of Miramichi door all the time. Yeah.
Well, see, Cheyenne, I support a lot of businesses professionally, right? So I work. So with my professional skills, I do support many different sectors of the community. So, the city of Miramichi was a client. Now that same level of support has been offered, and there's many businesses that I've supported in Miramichi, not only businesses but also organizations, professionally, but then also within the downtown Newcastle position that I held, that I'm still holding. I'm the president of that organization. There's a ton that we've accomplished. There's a lot of, and it wasn't just like, okay, the downtown Newcastle has grown, it's the network has grown. So it's been, okay, hey, listen, we're gonna hold this event. I think it's a really great opportunity for, let's say, the SPCA. Why don't you come down and have host a barbecue? You guys keep the money. We just wanna create the environment for people to come together and build and grow together. And I think that over time, I've been doing this almost 10 years back home here. And that's just my stint in the last 10 years being home. So that network just keeps growing and growing and growing. And, when we work with projects, I met you with the lighting project in Queen Elizabeth Park. So there's lots of connections that came from that. And it's just being a part of the community and really being a connector. It's never been about, there's a lot of projects that I've been a part of that people aren't aware I've been a part of. So I'm not usually one to, be in the center or want to be in the picture or anything like that. I've been the one that I said, hey, listen, let's do this cool project together. Let's connect. What are your ideas? What are your thoughts? And really run with it, because I really love collaboration.
Definitely, you're a fighter for this.
Yes.
You got to fight for that. And I believe it's totally in you, that you are in your personality, that you really fight for those ideas. Before I ask the second question, it's about what is your second project that you're really proud of that you had done in the city of Miramichi? But just a personal question, you have 2 kids.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Do you like fishing too?
I do. I do.
Because the season coming.
I know. I can't wait.
And I'm so excited because last year I remember just the season opened. You and you have 2 sons, right?
I do, yeah.
You went for the Middle Island. I remember that post that you got some good fishes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's awesome that you love fishing.
Yeah, and I've been so blessed. So my dad has been, fisherman my whole life. And I remember before the bass kind of took over, I was 11 years old. And I caught my first bass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I caught my first salmon, I think around 6 or 7, which was really cool. I don't actually know if I actually caught it. I think I just reeled it in. But they led me to believe that I caught it, which I'll still carry that torch that I caught it. But the bass, when I caught the bass, it was a really big deal. And, I can remember being so excited and it being this sort of this bragging right with my brother to say, hey, listen, you were 18 when you caught your first bass and then now, I'm so excited because my sons love it as well. So I get to kind of get that same excitement and be with them. And my youngest is really taken on. So he's always like, Grampy, just like last week, him and his buddy, his little fishing buddy, were, Grampy, when are we gonna get out there? The 15th can't come soon enough in our house because my youngest is just, he's got the bit between his teeth and he's ready to go.
Right.
He got his a brand new set of waders last year, so he's been every now and then he slips them on and he gets his tackle box out and calls Grampy. Yeah, so he's pumped.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think in entire Canada we have a better spot for fishing striped bass right than Miramichi.
Yeah, I mean, the bass have been a new thing, but it's amazing. It's amazing. They come
love
here
it.
to
Because I started inviting a lot of my friends from Moncton, St. John, Fredericton, from Iranian community to come over to the city after April 15, I believe, and just join us for fishing. It's just so easy. It's so easy and
it's so much fun.
And it's fun too. Yeah. Sometimes it was a time that I didn't know exactly how to fish, and I spent hours and hours not catching anything. But it was me that I didn't know where to go. But there are applications that you should have maybe have that in the future, and those type of applications, where to go, what are the best spots for fishing in the city of Miramichi, or it's sometimes related to the tide. Are we having a low tide or high tide? Where to go exactly? So we can provide some guidelines for the people who are new.
And there is some really great, there are great apps out there even still.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's funny because we kind of have a little kind of inside joke at our house that my grandfather, or my boys' grandfather, so my father, they go out and they have a special spot, right? And they don't tell. So
they don't tell anyone.
No, they don't tell anybody. But it's funny because they have this story where it's they'll say, they'll say to my youngest son, oh, where'd you guys go fishing? And now it's the joke is he's told to just say Nelson. So if you ask him, it doesn't matter where he's been.
Right,
His
yeah.
answer is Nelson.
Nelson. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's smart. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think based on that application, everything can go under one application. Like I used to be on a board of director at the Miramichi Transit, and then I just a couple of weeks ago I resigned because now it's under the event to the house, and the city of Miramichi take care of it. That was kind of my goal too. That should have happened long time ago, and I'm so happy this is happening now. So for example, people can maybe purchase their ticket through that app to pay for their bus, and we can have some tourism guideline to the one single app. And then, for example, for the alarm for fire safety or whatever, I feel like that one main application for the entire city of Miramichi would be a really creative idea and would be needed.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is the second project you're proud of in the city of Miramichi?
Probably the women's shelter. So as a part of that organization, we were able to establish a fuller continuum of care for victims of domestic violence. So the women's shelter was, there's the emergency center, and that was what was established in, I think it was 1988, that's been established. So that's been running for quite some time. But that is sort of, was a reactive organization, essentially. Like we would support women and their children fleeing to domestic violence, and then we would help them get situated and do some outreach programs, and that was kind of the extent. And now, even though the education and the outreach was fantastic, it was wonderful, we just wanted to be able to do more. And so over the last 8 years, we have been working extremely hard. We've had some wonderful people coming together on that project, and we were able to take the old high tide, low tide building, which is in downtown Newcastle. So that would be just right on the waterfront there, Waterfront Drive. We took that building, retrofitted it, and there is now 4 2-bedroom units and 4 1-bedroom units. Plus a few other rooms. So we have like a soft interview room, so where women can go in a very comfortable space and give their statements to police. So we have those types of things. But that project was I think it was roughly about $3.2 million. That was a massive undertaking, years and years of planning, tons and tons of hurdles. Just over time, it was something that took a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of perseverance, we'll say, a lot of extremely strange hurdles. The day that we opened, I left there about 6 o'clock, and about 7:30, 7:45, I got a call, and that same day of the grand opening, I got a call that the water main broke.
I saw that.
And it completely flooded. And not just flooded, it created extreme amount of damage. So we were finished. We just crossed the finish line, quite literally, that same day. It was a wonderful day, super positive, really good feelings, and then it flooded.
That was...
So that took another, massive amount of energy to work through all those hurdles. It was about another $175,000 in damage that we had to work through.
Wow.
We lost, I think it was 3 main units, plus the common areas and some of the other extra rooms that we had in place.
Was it insured too?
It was, yeah, thankfully, yeah. But again, there is a deductible, a massive deductible on that. So that was something that the nonprofit itself had to figure out. But it was an amazing project to be a part of and to really get through that, and now see there are families that are going into the second stage, and they're getting the support they need, and then they're getting back out on their own, and they're finding homes that they can, get into and support themselves, because they've had that 18 months of support while they're basically recovering.
Yeah.
And their children are supported. There's a lot of programs that we're now offering, which is the trauma recovery for children and youth. So that program is now essentially established. And when I got involved in the organization, that was really my mission, was, hey, listen, we need to stop the cycle of domestic violence, but also understanding that many of the social issues we have stem from trauma-related issues. And we need to establish a trauma-related therapy or support program for children and youth in order to essentially end the cycle of domestic violence, substance abuse, and generally, impact and impact the cycle upstream with those people that are experiencing trauma, and not just domestic violence, right? That program is designed for children and youth who are experiencing trauma, period.
Right.
So what we know is that a lot of social issues we're seeing in our community are stemming from trauma-related incidences.
Yeah.
So if we don't help them as children, we're not really setting them up for success. And that's something that was really very, very much the mission in me joining that board. I'm like, okay, we need to do better. And so we've got there. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's something that I truly, whether or not this works out for me and I become mayor, I know that there's still more work to do in the community.
100%.
And if that means that I'm going to remain where I am in the community and continue to persevere within those sectors, then I'm here to do it. So if I'm
awesome.
if I don't become successful in mayor, I'm not going to stop.
I'm sure about that. I'm sure about that, definitely. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, thank you for mentioning that, because I had no idea. I remember all about that flooding and everything, but I didn't know you were involved with that project at all. So I'm so glad that I asked.
I'm actually the chair of that organization as well.
Wow, that's awesome. So that's perfect. I said that's the reason I want to have this conversation, to get to know more about you, because I was gonna say, okay, probably I asked this question that you maybe bring up, that lighting this, not Centennial Bridge, the Newcastle downtown and the Square Park, Queen Square Park, right?
Queen Elizabeth Park.
Queen Elizabeth Park Square. I thought that lighting up that project was one of your projects that you're proud of.
I am. I definitely am. I mean, it was hard to pick, Cheyenne. To be honest,
I know.
I've been very active, and that's one of them, right? Like the lighting project was really cool to get together and really get something really creative. The lights over Newcastle Boulevard was really great. We won, actually. I don't know if you. I think you were aware that we won an Atlantic Economic Development Award for that project.
Yeah,
so that was really cool.
That's funny. Let me tell you something funny. I'm sure, it's a joke. It's always existed for the people between Chatham and Newcastle. Like in this last weekend, I met a beautiful girl, beautiful German girl in Moncton. We had started having a chat, and she said, "Oh, I'm from Miramichi." I was like, "Oh, really? Where are you living?" She said, "Well, in the bright side of the town." I'm like, "Come on, no, stop it, please." But I said, and I was so proud. I said, "Do you know who lighted that up?" I said, "I did that." I said, "No." He said, "Did you really do that?" I said, "I didn't. I installed the lighting. We were part of the project with the Blue Energy." And I was trying to say, I mentioned your name. She didn't. I don't think she know you, but we mentioned that I'm living in the bright side of the town. And, okay, so that's a good point that I brought it up, because I wonder if you would have some plan for the Chatham downtown.
Oh my gosh, yes. So a part of what I've been doing has been so focused, right? I've really locked into downtown Newcastle, creating a sense of belonging, bringing organizations together, creating events, creating the feeling that organizations can come together.
Are you still president of the Newcastle downtown?
I am,
too?
yeah. So I hold that seat as well, yeah. So it was always focused within those boundaries. Right. But, that's kind of one of the things that really appealed to me to step up into this position was, hey, listen, I've got great ideas. I think they're great ideas. I've got great energy, at the very least, for all parts of this community. And I would love to be able to take some of this energy that I've got just spilling over and really focus it in different areas in the community, because I see amazing opportunities in the Chatham district. I think it's just sitting there waiting, and I have such excitement to work with the people that are there now, and we've got a great connection with Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks is working with the BIA in Chatham. Kim Harris previously, I have nothing but respect for those people and what they're doing, and I would love to be able to support them more. And I really think that the role as mayor and spreading that vision and collecting that energy with people and building on what is already happening is what I'm just so eager to jump into. Yeah.
So from the marketing perspective, or imagine you are a mayor right now. What was the result of that lighting that Newcastle downtown? Like economically or like a marketing point of view?
Well, it's been actually really cool because when we set that project up, as you're aware, it was two parts. We had the lighting over top of Newcastle Boulevard, and then we had the lighting inside Queen Elizabeth Park. But the lighting over the Newcastle Boulevard part really took off, and we started seeing photographers coming from other places. One of my favorite experiences was I was downtown and I was walking sort of up Ellen Street, and I had somewhere to go, and I was, my mind was in a mission, and I was just sort of coming across the crosswalk, and I saw this lady coming, and she was clearly a tourist, and she walked kind of on the corner of Ellen Street and Newcastle Boulevard, and she spotted the lights, and she went, oh, yeah. So she was a French lady from, I ended up finding out, from Caracat, and they had come because they were coming to see these lights.
Yeah.
And I guess she must have not noticed them when they were parking, and as she was coming around the corner, she gasped in excitement and just adoration for that. And that was like, in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like that filled my heart.
Yeah.
It made me really realize the impact of that project and how people were coming from other places. It's now become a recognizable image.
100%.
So when you see Explore New Brunswick, they're using that image of that lighting. There's marketing in Discover Miramichi of that lighting, and so it's really done more than I even realized. And on the onset, it was just, hey, this is a really cool idea, and I had seen it in my travels around the world, something similar. And
it is beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
proud of
believe
that.
it. So we can, like, right now in this part of the podcast, we can start like maybe promoting some of the businesses in downtown Newcastle and downtown Chatham, because now with that project, I believe there are a lot of businesses that they can take advantage of, and it's benefiting them as well. Like for example, the Apero bar.
Yes.
Like a lot of people after their party on the Apero come out, take a picture with that lighting on the street, or the Classic bar, which is over there in front of the Tim Horton. And I don't know if the flower shop that we have do you know the name? What's the name?
Ellen
of the
Street. Ellen Street Florals. Yeah.
Okay. Is it the name of the flower shop?
Ellen Street Florals. That is the name of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the name. Okay, that's cool. So they can also really, it's a great spot for them too, that the people
Absolutely.
can come and visit those lighting, at the same time do some shopping in the downtown. Is
Absolutely.
like giving a lot of opportunity to the local businesses. That's why most of the time I was pushing that idea of lighting the Centennial Bridge too, to be able to bring more people at night to the city. Because we have some bars also in the downtown Chatham side, like the, what was the name? The Irish pub, the O'Donoghue's.
Yep.
And then right now we have another store, Cheese District, which
Yes.
they are doing a great job. It's
Yes,
part
so
of a
good.
great community. I got hungry now.
I know.
And then just yesterday I saw there's a bookstore that opened. I don't know if you know about that too.
I just realized that opened, so that was just a couple days ago, and I'm so eager to get in. I've been super busy with campaigning that it's on my list. I'm going.
I don't know if they're open now, but we can go after
Yeah,
that.
okay.
It's just because
See if they're open.
I don't know if I mention or not, or it's good time that I mentioned that thanks to the Rot Hotel,
Yes.
they became our sponsors since the beginning. And it's just my pleasure to have this great sponsor that I'll be able to record my podcast on one of their conference room.
Absolutely.
And I used to have a great team before when I started this podcast, but unfortunately right now I'm doing most of the work by myself, like editing and the marketing part of it. I'm supposed to upload videos on my YouTube every week almost, but like I got really, really busy with the stuff that's happening back in my country, and the rest of the my personal work didn't let me really focus on this podcast. But I think right now is the perfect timing for me to make myself distracted with all of the problems I have and focus on this.
That's right. Yeah, it's good. It's a good energy project. I'm really glad
it
you're
is.
doing it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of long-term vision for the city.
Long-term vision. So I think, I'm so excited for so much in the community. And one of the things that I've been really sinking my teeth into lately is our industrial sector. Mm-hmm. So I did a survey that I have been taking on within the campaign, and I've asked people, what is your vision what do you see for this community? Where are our pain points? Where are opportunities? And, there's two major things that keep coming up, really three, but we'll get to the third one, I'm sure. The first one is jobs, right? We want to keep our people here. We want to keep our people sustained. We want to support the life that we know we can have here, the quality of life that Miramichi offers. We want to support that. And there are a massive number, actually. I mean, it's even more than I even initially realized. Industrial businesses that are doing fantastic work. We've got, Sunny Corner Exploration. We've got Do. We have, Arbec. Superior. These are all businesses, and that's just a few of them that are doing incredible work. There's a lot of happening that even in like the northern part of the province that is bringing work and jobs here in Miramichi, and supporting that initiative of building up our industrial sector, our manufacturing, because that's where we're really going to grow here as a community. Is that is what we have to lock in and figure out everything we can to build that up. So we have some problems with. I talked to somebody yesterday who said, you know what, I'm feeling really landlocked. I can't grow my business. And when I really start searching within the community for pieces of land for me to expand, I'm seeing that there's places that I could go, but there's no infrastructure, there's no water, there's no sewer, and there's no power run to that land. So I really see that that's something we need to work on. We need to really figure out what our industrial sector needs so that we can continue to grow and sustain ourselves locally. Yep. So that's definitely number one. And the second one that I keep hearing over and over and over again is programming. So we have ton of great assets. We have, the multiplex is coming up. We have the Lord Beaverbrook Arena. We have the Golden Hawk. We have the pools. We have, our parks, our, Elm Park and Queen Elizabeth Park and Ritchie's Wharf and Waterford Green. We have all these things. We have all the right pieces. We just need that connector. We just need that programming, because when we connect our community and we connect our youth and we connect our seniors and we connect our adults, that's when things really, really start to flourish. When people start feeling connected, that's when you see crime decrease. That's when you see new businesses open. That's when you see new residents coming in. And all of that needs to happen. We need to create the synergy between the assets, and really make it sing. We have that opportunity, and that's something that I feel in my gut that we've done. I've led with that in downtown Newcastle. Now I see the opportunity in all the other parts that I'd like to sing. I felt really restricted, right? I felt really restricted in downtown Newcastle because that was my focus. But now with this opportunity to step in as mayor, I see there's ways that I can support the vision of that as mayor.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly when that really came to my mind, that everybody was asking me, why do you want to do this, lighting the Centennial Bridge? I said, it's about the synergy that I want to make it into this project, because that's the way that we can bring all of the industrials, all of the workers, all of the ideas, peoples, even both sides of the river together, to be able to connect us together and to make that synergy. And that was kind of lovely to hear from you.
Yeah,
that was
and
nice.
Is the third part. You just touched on it. Is people want our community to feel connected. That means we're not Newcastle, we're not Chatham, we're not Douglastown, we're not Chatham Head, Nelson. We are Miramichi, right? And so we really need to start locking into that. And I think people are done with it. I really do. There's going to be some of that old stuff to kind of step away from. But I think when we really start moving forward and we really start figuring out, okay, well, what are the issues in this part of the city? What are the issues in that part of the city? And then work together on connecting it. And I think we do that, talking about the vision. I really think we really do that by locking in as well on our river. We have so much opportunity on the river, not just the river banks, not just the communities that are alongside the river, but really figuring out how do we both come together and meet on the river,
river.
essentially,
Yeah.
and grow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I believe, I don't know. I think even though right now the bridge is closed, I believe that this is a really great time maybe we rethink about that lighting the center bridge, because I remember someone told me that when they had some scaffolding still on the bridge and they were working on it, the cost was way lower than if you want to start a project as the beginning or from the scratch.
Right.
So I feel like I really need to start like backing into that. I have a hard time communicating with the new Minister of DTI, unfortunately. One of the problems was that I didn't know who to talk to. And then I got the chance to talk to the Minister of DTI, who used to be the Jeff Carr and with the Conservative Party. And then Jeff Carr was out of the office at one point, and then another person, and then the government changed. We had the Liberal government, and then with the new Minister of DTI, I couldn't have that good communication. It was just kind of, it's all about the money, you know?
Yeah.
But I will try to bring the cost as low as possible with the designing that I had, and I want to know how much it's going to cost when there are already, like, there might be some scaffolding maybe on the bridge or something. We will see about it in the future.
Get back on it.
Yeah. You got to support me if you get a mayor.
I will. I'll support you even if I'm not mayor.
Right. So about the how can I say? Let's talk about the main. Some people don't believe it. They are not agree with me that the tourism industry is the main part of the economy of the city of Miramichi. How much do you believe in that?
I believe that at one time it was a major part of what kept things moving here in Miramichi, and really was a destination. I still think it is, but I really think we have a lot more work to do to essentially renew what that means for Miramichi, right? So I think we have all the pieces, Cheyenne, right? We have all the appeal here. Exactly. It's now about really bringing it all together. So it's there. It just needs to be revitalized. So I think that we have, again, back to the river. You know, we have this amazing this gift from God that has just quite literally
100%
been sitting there. And, you know, we've got this great fishing, and we've got all these wonderful parks that are weaved in and around, and trail systems, and, you know, this active transportation plan that they have it's all so on point. And we're a community that has been revitalizing. And it's funny because with one of the programs that I was doing last summer, somebody left a comment, and ever since they said this, it said that Miramichi appears to be going through a renaissance, that we are now essentially, we stepped outside of that, you know, old depression that it felt like that we were going through here as a community, and we've brought in a whole nother new life. And now it's this new identity that we're crafting, this is who we are. So who we are right now is sort of unfolding. You know, we've got this new identity that we're stepping into. You know, we're growing. We've got a great number of activities. We've got wonderful number of families. We've got great supports for seniors. And now it's really about bringing it all together into a packaged tourism scope. Right. So that's where we're kind of where we're sitting. And I think, again, I get so excited on the opportunities for this community because I really 100%. Believe in it.
Yeah. Like what I like about like your personality and your leadership is you work with like everybody. Like doesn't matter. Like, you know, I'm talking about like in a political world, like you don't care whatever your jobs that you want to be done, you communicate with them. If you got to talk to liberals, you got to talk to liberals. You don't avoid saying that, oh, I'm like something like that. I'm not going to talk to these people or something like that. You work with whoever is responsible, or you keep people accountable who in whatever department they are. So it's I think amazing that you don't stay away saying that, oh, I'm not friends with them or my ideology not matching with them. You don't care about that.
We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. We want, definitely. And I truly believe like every councillor, you know, the mayor, the MPs, the MLAs, everybody is there
fighting
because
for something the same. Yeah.
we all want the same thing. And the colors, it doesn't matter. You know, we work together because we're all connected on that same pulse. We all want the best for our community, and we're all stepping up to serve and do what we can to build it. Right. So I totally, I don't play, you know, party politics, because we're here to do the job. And get it done.
Yeah, me too. I'm honestly, I always like for my education and for my also like, my education and for my my future, I'm always like attending everything. Like if the Liberal Party have any event, or like someone coming to the town, like or Premier Susan Holt come here, I would attend, trying to listen to, because we got to be there to listen to see what are their plan, right? If I say, oh, I'm conservative, or if I say, oh, I'm liberal, I'm not going to go to the conservative part. We never going to understand each other. We're going to just push ourselves away from each other, and it's not going to help anyone. So that's a great part about like your leadership. Another thing about the tourism that I love about the city of Miramichi is the Indigenous community. That they have a lot of events, especially during summer, and the Canada Day, one of my favorite one, which was happening in Newcastle, in Chatham downtown, was the sunrise ceremony. I don't know, have you ever attended?
Yes,
or not?
I have. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's
like
wonderful.
6 a.m. You got to be there. They pray, and I heard about rest of my friends who are living in Moncton, Fredericton, or St. John, or Toronto. They have no idea of, like, where are their Indigenous communities are. Like, what are their plans? What are their culture? And here in Miramichi, we have this opportunity with the powwow festivals and the rest of the. I think the powwow festivals is gonna be organized like in different locations, and also with different colors and cultures. And it's just beautiful that we can learn about them.
Absolutely.
And we have it only here in Miramichi. As far as I know, they might have it, but as far as my friends know who are living in Moncton or Fredericton, they haven't got a chance to experience that, to be involved with that Indigenous community.
Yeah, and you know, it's amazing. Growing up in Miramichi and really just being connected to the First Nations, and you know, I really I adore all of it, because you know, it's a part of our culture, and you know, I don't see it as First Nations and the city of Miramichi. I see it as we're one, one community. We belong to each other, and there's a really beautiful peace. And it's something that, you know, it's been important in my family. It's you know, we used to go to mass up in Ale Ground, and you know, both my grandparents, that's where their funerals were, was in Ale Ground, and it was that's a part of us. And you know, where we've always seen things is that there's lessons to be learned from that culture, and that the First Nations is, like I said, it is a part of our culture, and I really adore what this council and mayor have done to build that partnership with the CD partnership, and really building the connection to, you know, the fisheries, and what they're doing in Ale Ground is just fantastic. You know, and Red Bank and all those communities are just, you know, they're thriving right now. And I really want to be able to lock in again with them as well, and see how we can build more and do more together, because it's nothing, again, we got to build together. You know, when we connect together, we rise together. And I think that's what I'm looking to really build on as well. Yeah,
that's a great statement. And I'm terrible with the names, but the leaders of the Indigenous community, I know one of them, Chief George. I don't remember the last one, but I had a chat with both of them, and they are so passionate about the community and building their own community and adding more to the city of Miramichi. And they are really they have big ideas, and I love them. Based on, I don't know, I'm not gonna say that, based on what like the size of the city of Miramichi, their ideas was like next level that someone in the Toronto might think about it. And I'm like, that's a really great idea. And they were thinking of doing that, but they were saying like someone in another part of the country did that. Now we are thinking about the other projects. So I believe that like with your leadership and their plan and their project, they can do great a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, there's no limitations, right? And that's the reality. It's or limitations that we have is only what we put on ourselves, because there's smaller communities that have done massive things, and I see that for Miramichi. We've got the right parts.
Right, and the name is the indigenous name, no?
Yes,
right? So they call it's coming from Mi'kmaq community, right?
Yes,
that's beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and beside that, indigenous or in our indigenous community, we have also we have a very big, diverse community here in the city of Miramichi. And the cool part of it, for example, for me, someone coming from Iran, we have a diversity, but we all call as an Iranian. Like we don't really call that as a diversity, because we are all like, we have the same goal in the life and everything, but we have different languages. But it's not like we're coming from another country. We have been there, like Turkish people, Kurdish people. We have been there for thousands of years, but we all call ourselves Iranian.
Okay.
But we have the people speak Turkish, and on their school, they're teaching Turkish language, but like the Persian language is the main one across the country. So for that reason, it's not very noticeable in my country around that diversity. But when you come here, people coming from different countries that have not been here before,
interesting,
and they are just maybe 5 years. The maximum could be like maybe 100 years that they are here. But that diversity is so cool that you can make friends who are from France, from Africa, or from
it's so awesome.
Any part of the world, that bring their experiences. They're talking about for example, something that I always like promote every part of the Canada and every part of the colleges. Something that I don't like is the food. It's the food, because I have a hard time to find the diverse food in the city of Miramichi. I can't expect that, honestly. It's a small town, I know. But still, we have some Filipino food and the rest of them. But I think in the entire New Brunswick, unfortunately, there are not many. So I have to travel to Montreal, the closest one.
To get some good food?
To get some Persian food.
Persian food. Okay, for sure, Persian. Yeah, and I think and it's so crazy though, Cheyenne, because growing up here, you don't see it as like, the food and the diversity maybe is, we're not quite as robust. But compared to when I grew up here, this is so much more robust and so many more, nationalities and things like that. And so it's interesting as a perspective coming from you to say that, there's, and I get it. There's, it's all in perspective.
Yeah. I feel like the most thing I miss about my country is the food. Like, I miss family, I miss friends, I miss a lot of good locations in Tehran.
But you like to eat.
But I want to eat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So whenever I go to somebody's house, like Iranian community, I'm just like, that's one part of my best life. To someone cook Persian food for me.
Yeah.
And they are so welcoming too, because they always invited me, saying that come over whenever you feel like you kind of starving, you're getting Persian food, come over. So yeah, it's hard. Running a restaurant, like opening a business here in Miramichi especially, like I'm talking about Miramichi, I'm sure the rest of the province or the country have the same issues, but I believe it's really hard. In the town of Miramichi, like in last 3 years I've been here, I saw a lot of restaurants, unfortunately, they closed. And I don't know how it should work, where we are doing wrong, or as a country, what's the problem that we can't support them enough that their business keep growing or going up. I don't know, but we should think something about that.
Yeah, it's tough. Business is tough, and it's really probably a really extremely tough period right now to run a business. We've got the cost of living is through the roof, so disposable income is getting that percentage is getting smaller and smaller for people to spend, and as well as the cost of goods. So it's tough all around. Power, right? Just to hydro, just to heat your buildings is getting difficult as business owners, and it's not for the faint of heart. And I really feel for where people are right now on both sides, both the entrepreneurship side of things and residents, because I'm both of those, and I see that we've got a tough couple of years ahead of us, I think, and I think that the best we can do for each other is be there, and shopping local, huge piece. I think that we've got to make sure that wherever we can, I know it's not easy all the time. When Amazon's so convenient and shows up to your door a couple days later. But where we can, and we've got to be mindful of every dollar we spend and how we can support local, because that's our neighbors. Those are the people that we pass in the streets, and those are the people who are fighting and serving our community. Entrepreneurs typically are people who are just serving their community with the passion and their love of whatever it is that they're doing. And so we want to foster that passion and that love, because when you give that support, it always comes back 5, 6, 7-fold, right? And that's the economic study of it. Your dollar goes 5 and 7 times further when you spend it locally. So we got to keep that in mind, especially in the next coming couple of years.
100%. I didn't know that's part of the studying, but that was cool to know about it. And because I remember that we did some electrical work with Blue Energy on the sushi place in Newcastle downtown, and I had no idea. I was always supporting them, even with their marketing, not with their marketing, like I'm posting on my social media and easy stuff. And one day I came back to the town and I realized they are not there anymore. I was so sad. Gladly, they are the owner of the classic bar, the business.
They're still going.
That's good, but I was super sad.
Yeah.
We don't have a sushi place here in Miramichi.
No, we do. You
do?
The one in Douglastown. It's where they sell the bubble tea.
Right.
Yeah.
They do sell
it's
sushi.
So good too. It's really good. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I know the bubble tea, but I didn't know they sell sushi.
Yeah, they sell sushi, and they have a little bake shop in there too.
Okay, that's cool. I gotta go there.
Yeah, you do.
I'm a sushi guy.
Oh, it's good.
I'm a foodie guy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So.
Anytime there's new food, I'm
Yeah. One time, while I was sharing some of my posts on my Facebook, someone commented on me, sent me a message that kind of was nice to hear. That saying that why am I always trying to change the city? And then one time I came to myself, and I was trying to do that, but in a good way. I was not trying to think in a bad way, but my perspective was in a city with lots of people, lots of buildings, nice buildings, blah, blah, blah. And then I come up with this conclusion that the city of Miramichi doesn't need that growth in that direction of maybe a huge growth in the population, or what we need is to, first of all, take care of our heritage and our culture and our festivals and our environment, to be able to fix that, to bring the quality of life higher instead of growing in the other case.
Correct.
And then I started thinking, I totally changed my approach to what I was trying to do most of the time, to trying to make Miramichi grow as become a bigger city with the population and with the land wise or whatever. And then, but I think what we need in Miramichi, my perspective, is really, really focus on the quality life. Because it's a perfect city. I love it here. Yeah. It's just beautiful, peaceful, no traffic, beautiful environment, different season. You go have different entertaining, fishing season coming. During winter, we go fat biking for the French Fort Boat, hiking available, and people coming here for snowmobile. I think here is a city for rich people.
Well, there's
sorry, by rich people I mean it's a most of the rich people having this type of fun, that every single people in Miramichi now have that fun at their doorstep. Right?
We say often, when we're talking about the community, and we say it's got this resort sort of feel, right? Yeah. I think that's what you're kind of getting at.
Yeah, exactly.
And that it's we're rich with resources. Mm-hmm. We have an absolute pristine community, and I keep going back to, we have all the right pieces, right? And we have the appeal, and we can step out our front door, we can grab a fishing rod and literally catch dinner. That's pretty amazing. And those are the things that I think that we can't forget, and we need to protect, right? Because all those pieces are there, and when we honor them and when we use those resources, we won't lose them. And I think that keeping in mind that there's an ability to really thrive here with the quality of life, and that's what we're really looking to protect, right? Yeah. It's the quality of life, And we do that by protecting our environment, by protecting our culture, our heritage, but also opening up to modernizing in the right ways, to building housing where we need it, to also switch up some of the, maybe right now, we're looking at massive multi-unit buildings. Maybe we switch that out for some townhouses for a while and make home ownership a bit more affordable. Look at single family homes, things like that. So I think we have to take that balance and that's what it is. It's balance, right? Take that balance and say, okay, we have a lot going for us right now. Let's just keep what's going for us, continue to restore and revitalize what we do have, and then look for those gaps and fill it in. But maintain our core, maintain our foundation, and build from there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Because one of my ideas for the upcoming this year is I really want to start running the heritage board for the city of Miramichi, because I know Moncton have one, which my brother is one of the board of directors. I don't know if you know Brian who's running also for city councilor for Moncton.
Brian Eric?
Yeah, so he's on the board, and they are doing a great job, and they are protecting their heritage buildings, and unfortunately we just lost one behind the church. And so this is one of my ideas that I really want to have it on a part of the city, and I believe with the help of you that know how to get the money. Because it's all about the money, and it's about the support that the government needs to support these heritage buildings, because they are part of our history. And as a person who I study architecture, it's very, very important for me, because that's the face of the city. And something that I'm not sometimes happy when I'm crossing, I don't know if I should even mention, let's just mention it's okay. When I'm crossing, they're going from Water Street, if I'm not wrong, towards the Middle Island. There are some buildings, the multi-unit apartments which was, I think, if I'm not wrong, funded for the housing, and they are right beside the river. But their facade, their design is not good. I know they were built probably cheap to be able that the people can afford that, but I believe that, for example, that location maybe was a wrong choice. That could go maybe somewhere else. I don't remember. Was it the land for the city of Miramichi that was giving away to the builders or something? I don't remember. But what I'm trying to say mostly is about we gotta have an architect somewhere on a board in the city, or have this heritage board to protect the facade of the building, because this architecture designing going to show who we were, and if we lose those buildings, we are gonna lose our history.
So anyway, the architecture part of the city is really important. As I study for the architecture, it's directly affecting our economy, directly affecting our mental health, and a lot of things. It's really connected and really needs to be focused. I don't think we even have a lot of architects here in the town. Maybe one company. There might be one architect who I'm not sure if he's still in the town or something like that. But I think the city really needs to hire an architect who was educated to comment on some of the stuff that the city are deciding on. I know a lot. It's mostly about the money, but an architect needs to be there to make give a good point to the people.
I always kind of mention about the quaint little town that we're in, right? We want to maintain that. So I understand where you're coming from on that for 100%. Sure. Yeah.
So any last message for the people who want to vote to you? Why do you have to vote to you right now?
I have the energy, Cheyenne. I have the passion, and I have the work ethic. And I think it's time for us to, lock in. Again, I use that term. It's time to lock in on where we're going. Yeah. And I really think that, I have what it takes, and I have the experience in the community, and I have the experience with governance. And I think it would be a really massive honor to be trusted with the community's future. And I think that I'm ready for it.
Yes, that's perfect. I believe as soon as you get into the office, it will be the best feeling to serve in your own community. Absolutely. That you have been here with your ancestors also here. So it would be amazing.
Totally.
And where can we get one of you these signs at our doorstep?
My signs are now out and about. So I have a few. I think I have another about 50 to pass along.
Okay, cool.
And I am putting in another order. But if people want to learn more about myself and request one of these signs, they can go to www.tiffanygallivan.com and request a sign there, and either one of me or a team member of mine, we will come by and we will pop it on your lawn or leave it on your front step, or stop for a chat, and we'll get it to you. And of course, I'm just so grateful for all the support.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time. I really had a great conversation with you and enjoyed this podcast. I'm gonna start editing very quickly.
Awesome.
To be able to release it this weekend, and looking forward to have more chat with you. Maybe in the future, I would like to have another episode to have all of the candidates maybe in one room having a debate, because you guys gonna get ready for that challenging part.
A debate would be awesome. Cheyenne, you can line it up. I'll be there.
Right, that would be awesome, because the city councils and the mayor are always sitting live. It's always live that the people can watch all of the meetings, and I believe how much pressure that they can be on them. And now we can see how much our candidates can handle that pressure. Yes.
Ooh, okay, let's do it.
We are not gonna have people, but it's gonna be live. Hopefully we can start working on this project, and we're gonna find out our sponsors and see who would support us, and then we'll continue.
Yes,
work
awesome.
on it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you.